Greetings, Europe. It's Philip DeBella here, one of the major shareholders of Pantreeco, and also one of the first adopted users of this fantastic communication tool. I've built businesses all my life and I totally understand that great businesses are made up of great partnerships. You need the right people on the right seats of the bus to achieve greatness. And as we look for more partnerships, this is so important for Pantreeco. I also can't wait to see what this amazing piece of technology and the team deliver as they constantly work to be world class. So thank you. I'm proud to be part of the team, and greetings to all.
Coming to us from a world down under and a world-class entrepreneur, it's the one and only Lee from Pantreeco!
Guten Tag, Berlin. B2B commerce in hospitality is just not compatible with today's online world. And that incompatibility begins the moment a cafe or restaurant sends an order to their supplier. Let's take a simple coffee order, sent from a cafe to a supplier via email. If you're a supplier getting an order on email, what you need to do is translate what the customer's saying into a bunch of systems. One team is responsible for the inventory management, another team for product and packing that order, and both are almost always using different tools and processes. And then you have another team that is going to courier the order to the customer on the customer's terms, and another team that's going to follow up with an invoice which the customer's going to pay on their terms. This is what a partnership in hospitality looks like at its best right now. It's a mess. Both sides of an industry trying to transact using different tools. Why is it like this? Well, we could go back to when business was done with a handshake. Handshake became the phone call. A phone call became an email. What has always existed and will continue is a buyer will choose a channel that gives them flexibility of how they communicate with their supplier. And that's because a buyer controls the quality of what they get through their communication with their supplier. So nothing infuriates a buyer more than removing that control. A supplier has and will always look for the best tools to process and manage this communication. But there's always been friction between the way a buyer communicates and the way a supplier has to process his communication. Actually, the friction is only getting worse because there's more communication channels in the market. Now, in Silicon Valley, usually the way you solve these problems is you build a platform and you force both sides of the market to use that, right? Teams have tried this over and over again in hospitality, and it just does not work. Adoption is slow and it's expensive, and that's not our approach. We use technology to integrate the preferred tools of both sides of the marketplace. It's simple. We call it co-commerce, and we are Pantreeco, co-commerce for hospitality. Let's show you how co-commerce works. Buyers are going to send orders on their preferred channel. Instead of changing this behavior, let's just give the suppliers tools to bring orders into one central location, regardless of what channel they were communicated on. We can get a formatted response back to the buyer. Now, actually, what this does over time is it digitizes the entire relationship. And most importantly, we take the data and we put it into the preferred tools of the supplier. It doesn't matter whether that's a spreadsheet, inventory management, or accounting software. And this is what happens with only a dozen suppliers. That's no sales or marketing. That's 15 million communicated across our platform. In an Australian market, they're transacting 600 million. And when I look at the global space, the friction between a buyer and a supplier is exactly the same between Australia, UK, US, wherever you look, only the market is much bigger. And nobody is owning this space. Our product sits somewhere between a Slack and an Amazon, but we're yet to see the right business model to win this market. And our model is very simple. The core Pantreeco application is accessible to everybody. It creates viral distribution of our brand, and then we charge suppliers for integrations. The real value comes for everybody when you can move payment to a supplier with less friction. Now, in this partnership, I'm the comms guy. My background is a product manager at Australia's largest telecommunications company, Telstra, and that's my co-founder, a very well-respected API engineer who's worked on global payment platforms. This is the man you heard introduce me. His name's Philip DeBella. He's arguably the most important man in coffee. He sits on the board of Retail Food Group. He is the MD of DeBella Coffee, and he's a customer, mentor, and a shareholder in Pantreeco. B2B commerce is not compatible with today's online world, and that friction between a buyer and supplier is a global opportunity. It's also a responsibility for technology teams to get the partnership right. I'm Leroy. I'm the co-founder at Pantreeco, and we are removing that friction of B2B commerce and hospitality. Thank you.